Hello, everyone. My name is James Arroyo, and welcome back to Chapter 1, Part 2. This is where we talk about what are some of the beginning steps on our public speaking journey and how to improve that. So let's go ahead and dive right on in with what is the secret to public speaking. I always get asked this as people learn that I teach public speaking, and I tell them there is no big secret. It is simply practice, 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 preparation, 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 and more practice, practice, practice. Allen Iverson can even take it from here.
Anybody tell you that I miss practice? If a coach say I miss practice
Yeah,
and y'all
okay.
hear it,
And
then
in
that's
other words, practice, practice, practice. Very
that.
important stuff. So, there are many advantages of practice. First, it can improve your speech content as well as your delivery. Obviously, it can improve our delivery because as we continue to practice, we get more confident, we communicate more effectively with our delivery. But it also can improve our content because we'll end up presenting and being like, wait, this doesn't actually fit very well, or this is a kind of weird sentence. Maybe I want to say it a little bit differently. So it can absolutely improve both our delivery and our content. Also, it can improve our credibility because the more we practice something, the clearer we can communicate it. And then lastly, decreasing your anxiety. This happens in two ways. First, it reduces your fear of failure because you are less likely to fail if you practice more. Also, it reduces your uncertainty because if you practice, you will be less uncertain of how your presentation is going to go because you have done it a few times already. So there are many advantages to practice, and that is going to be the biggest takeaway of how to improve and to succeed in a public speaking class like this or in any public speaking situation beyond the class. So, these are the 10 most important steps for beginning public speakers. Care. Organize your thoughts. Start strong, end strong. Look great, feel great. Show your personality. Never drop the ball. Control your body, control your voice. Make eye contact and rehearse your speech. Let's dive right in. First, care. An audience must invest time to listen to your speech. So if you show that you care, then you are showing that you care about the audience as well. Have you ever been in a situation where someone may have been teaching you something, but it seemed like they didn't care? How did you respond? Usually, we will not respond well. We may not pay attention because if the person speaking doesn't care, why should I care? And that is the crux of why we should care about what we're presenting. So, this starts with topic selection. If we choose something that we care about and that we are interested about, then our energy and passion is communicated very easily, and we don't have to fake it. And this care also extends to how we communicate with our audience because if it's a topic we really care about, then we want to do our best job. It's a motivational tool as well as a delivery. It helps not only that, but it also improves our delivery. So care is an incredibly important part. The second big step is to organize your thoughts. Organization is the process of planning out the information and ideas in your structure to ensure clear logical structure. As I've said before, you only get one shot at understanding a public speech. So, clarity is essential, and that happens through organization. There's an introduction, a body, and a conclusion in all public speeches. In that body, we have main points and transitions. We will go in more into detail about all of these components, but the big thing to consider is that main points, I like to think of them as labels for certain categories. For example, think of a cubby. A cubby has a label. In that label, in that cubby, there are binders within that label that further categorize that big category. And then within those binders is the actual paper. It is the actual information of your speech. We'll go more into detail on this, but that is the preliminary Organize Your Thoughts lecture. Next, start strong, end strong. There is an effect called the primacy-recency effect. And the primacy-recency effect states that we remember the thing that happens first, and we remember the thing that happens last. Or at least those are the ones that stick with us most. So, we should have a good first impression. When does your contact with the audience start? It starts even before you say your first word. So you want to be sure that you have a commanding presence as you start. Also, you want to sum up your impressions or leave a lasting impression with something powerful, like tying back to the very beginning of what you said. Instead of saying things like, "That's it, I'm done," or "How much time do I have left?" Again, the reason why this is important because we remember what happens first and we also remember what happens last. We also want to look great, feel great. Guess what? What we wear communicates something to your audience. That happens in communication, that happens in public speaking as well. So we want to be sure that we're communicating credibility and confidence, and maybe not that we don't care. And not only does communication go outward when you have good clothes, it also communicates inward. When you wear certain clothes, you will feel a certain way. And if you have good clothes, you will feel more confident. Also, avoiding wearing distracting items is also important. This means things that jingle around, we want to be sure that we're avoiding. Another thing, things that have text on it, because then we read the shirt, and don't pay attention to your speech. So the general rule of thumb for our presentations is as if you were going to a job interview, to an office where you are going to be representing the company. This is also not exclusive to what you're wearing. It could be, did you shave? Have you cut your hair? Did you bathe? All of which communicate something. Next, show your personality. Remember that one thing to keep in mind with public speaking is that it emulates the best qualities of everyday communication. So, would you rather have a conversation with someone who is a robot or someone who is communicating their personality? Obviously, we would much prefer to talk with someone who has a personality, so avoid stressing out. It is about sharing your ideas that you feel passionate about. It is about sharing yourself. Also, you can even share your sense of humor, but be sure it's appropriate and effective. There are certain topics, sad topics, where humor would not be appropriate or effective. And be sure you smile. Show your personality. It's what you bring to your presentation. Also, never drop the ball. Dropping the ball means when you make a mistake, while speaking verbally or non-verbally, drawing attention to it. So, for example, if I then messed up, I'd be like, oh wait, I messed up. Hold on just 1 second. Let me just check my notes. Or, hold on 1 second. Or, can I start over? All of those draw attention to my mistake and obviously will, as a result, hurt your credibility. Instead, what you should do is just keep on going. If you don't remember what you're going to say, take a pause, think about what you just said, think about what you're about to say, and if you still can't figure it out, make it up. The audience does not have your script. So, the only way they will know for sure that you made a mistake is if you call attention to it. So don't ask to start over, just push through, keep on going. You got this. Never drop the ball. Also control your body. Excessive unintentional hand gestures as you're going through your speech is not going to be very effective and obviously will be very distracting. But little fidgets throughout your entire speech are obviously also going to be very distracting and may decrease your credibility. So instead, what you should do with your body is purposeful gestures and use speaking stance. This means feet shoulder width apart, knees slightly bent, hands to your sides, shoulders slightly back, and chin up. When you should not pace around, you should always move with confidence. Have purpose for your body movements, because if it is not purposeful, what will end up happening is it will be less impactful every time you do it. So you should use your hands effectively. Don't put them in your pockets. Don't play with your hair or clothing. Don't fig leaf. That means putting your hands right in front of where a fig leaf would go. But with hand gestures, we want to be sure that we are not anchoring them anywhere. This means crossing your arms, putting them behind your back, putting them in front of yourself. All of those things are anchoring your hands so that you are less likely to have purposeful hand movements. And if you decide to move around, move with a plan, move with a purpose. We also want to control our voice. The name of the game for the variations of your voice is going to be like Goldilocks. Not too hot, not too cold, just right. You don't want to speak too fast or too slow. You want to be in the middle somewhere. Same thing with volume, loud or quiet, you want to be somewhere in the middle. Same thing for pauses. You don't want to have so many pauses. You don't want to have no pauses at all. You want to be somewhere in the middle. And same thing with inflection, using specific stresses. Same thing with pitch, speaking high or low. But we want to have variety. We want to vary our voice. So we want to be like Goldilocks, but we want to find some areas to be loud, some areas to be quiet. For example, if you're telling a story and the story's getting very, very intense, you may want to speed up your rate so that you show the tempo and the pace by which the story is happening. Or if you're speaking at a funeral, you may speak a little slower to show how somber the tone is. So that's how you control your voice. We also want to make eye contact. Direct eye contact can change its meaning across cultures. For some cultures, eye contact is a sign of respect. Other cultures, averting your eye contact is a sign of respect as well. So the big thing to keep in mind for us, though, is that that eye contact communicates confidence, respect, and connection. Connection is the big one. It is fundamentally how we connect with people on the most fundamental way is through eye contact. So we use eye contact to connect with others. And we can't do that if we are reading from our notes, reading from a textbook, or even just reading from a screen. So some tips for this strategy is look to each person. One person per idea. Talk to this person for a little while. Then talk to this person for a little while. Then talk to this person for a little while. Then talk to this person for a little while. Obviously, in our communication situation through Zoom, that's going to not really work. So instead, look at your camera, and you can look around every now and again, but be sure that you're looking at your camera throughout the majority of your presentation. Also, the very last one, and tying it all back, rehearse your speech. You need to practice to make sure that you're ready to present, and that is the best indicator of who will succeed or who will fail. Irrespective of natural talent, which I would argue is a hard thing to define in and of itself is natural talent. Um, those who practice more do better than those who don't, every single time. So we want to be sure that we're practicing. But not just that, practice smart, not hard. This means practicing with an audience. This is vital because you will be able to not only uh, get experience with some of the nonverbal feedback that's going to come back to you when you speak, but also they may have feedback. I don't really understand what you meant by this. Now I know to fix that. Also practice in the room where you're going to deliver. This helps with reducing uncertainty of what it's going to look like as you present, but also it's going to help with your presentation technology. Guess what? Zoom is that room for us. So by practicing, by setting up your own Zoom meeting and practicing your speech, that's going to make you more effective in the actual presentation. Also practicing with school resources. There are many resources available to you for every school. So highly recommend that you utilize them. One of the biggest resources is me. I am more than happy to make time to help you practice and rehearse and improve the quality of your speeches. And then lastly, practice until you feel completely comfortable with the material. And those are the 10 most important steps for beginning public speakers. I hope that this has been informative, and I will see you in the next chapter. Have a great day.